It is, called caste census, but it is actually a survey of socio-economic and educational status of various communities.
Why are dominant caste leaders against it? What are the fears as far as the report is concerned?
The number is where the real problem or quote unquote problem for them lies. Too many interest groups that will not allow it to happen immediately, that too many questions will be raised.
To do or not to do? That is the big question currently facing CM Siddaramaiah and the Congress government in Karnataka on the implementation of the Socio-economic and Education Survey, popularly referred to as the Caste Census Report. 10 years since it was first commissioned by Siddaramaiah himself in 2014, the findings of the report are yet to see the light of day. Why has the report been kept under wraps for so long? What are the arguments for and against it? If implemented, what kind of churn can we expect in the social order in Karnataka? Namaskara. Welcome to Decode Karnataka. I'm Nalminachiyar. The Socio-economic and Education Survey was commissioned by Siddaramaiah during his first tenure as Chief Minister in 2014. It was undertaken in 2015 by H. Kantaraj, the then chairman of the Karnataka State Commission for Backward Classes, at a cost of 169 crore. However, the report submitted in 2018 was neither accepted nor made public. When Kantaraj's tenure ended, Jayaprakash Hegde was appointed as his successor. It was Hegde who finally submitted the report to the state government on February 29, 2024. The report, it is said, includes recommendations for reservation in education and public employment, targeted schemes for backward communities, and classifications for castes based on socio-economic and education status. However, 7 months since its long-awaited submission, there has been little to no movement towards implementing the report. Reason? Shrill opposition by dominant caste leaders from both Congress as well as the opposition. While the Karnataka Vakkaligara Sangha has submitted a memorandum to the CM against the caste census, the All India Veerashaiva Mahasabha has demanded a resurvey. Reasons to reject the survey range from the argument that it is based on 10-year-old data, hence outdated, it hasn't accounted for all of the state's population, and that it is unscientific. Meanwhile, Ahinda leaders and senior Congress leaders belonging to OBC communities have been pushing for the findings to be made public, even if it comes at the cost of the government's downfall. With political pressure mounting from all sides, what fate awaits the report, which, according to Siddaramaiah, is his dream child? Joining us for the discussion today is the Hindu Karnataka's resident editor, S. Bhageshri. So, the recent conversations around caste census have ruffled many feathers, but to start off this conversation with you, what is the significance of the socio-economic and education survey, and why does Karnataka need one? Can you just...
To put it very simply, you need empirical data to come up with any reservation policy. For example, to decide the quantum of reservation or to decide how to frame a policy for upliftment of, targeted upliftment of certain communities, you need empirical data. That is the absolute basic thing. And this has been cited by several courts. In various judgments, this has been cited. The absence of this data has been highlighted. There has only been only extrapolated data, and based on that we have decided on reservation, or with the exception of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, which are counted in every decennial census. We haven't had a count of castes. So this is what makes it very, very, at a very basic level, this is why caste based census is necessary. Okay. And also, as you said, it is called caste census, but it is actually a survey of socio-economic and educational status of various communities. So this is necessary to understand even basically who is forward and who is backward. So this is at a very basic level, the need, underlines the need for such a census.
Okay. The Congress is a divided house on making this report public. Recently, close to 30 OBC legislators met the CM and demanded for its implementation, while several other senior leaders belonging to the Vakkaliga and the Lingayat communities have called it unscientific, inaccurate, and have been dead opposed to it. So why are dominant caste leaders against it? What are the fears as far as the report is concerned?
So the cited reasons are some, and some are like not stated but underlying reasons. Like, for example, openly people have been talking about how it's unscientific, how it did not actually cover all the households, like so many houses, the people did not go to count, and how the questions were misleading or too leading. These kind of questions have been raised. These have largely come from two dominant communities, Vokkaligas and Lingayats, who are the politically very important castes, politically dominant castes in Karnataka. So that is one part of it. Over the years, there have some assumptions have been made about the number of people who belong to these castes. For example, it's assumed that about a little over 17% constitute Lingayats in Karnataka and over 12% constitute Vokkaligas in Karnataka. But we don't have really, it's not publicly available, the caste census data. But the leaked data that we have, that has been circulating says that it is actually much lesser than it was assumed. Okay. So, in fact, it says that the SC/ST population is about 18%, which makes it actually the highest. So far, it was assumed that Lingayats were somewhat close, but that's not the case. And Vokkaligas and Kurubas and Valmikis and these castes are almost on par. So this really upsets the political equations, in the sense that the demand for certain number of tickets or representation in cabinet or the post of the chief ministers, these have been made on certain assumptions about who are the biggest community and who are the most popular, most dominant community in the state.
Right.
So if the caste census report upsets that, so that is the biggest question. For example, in Karnataka has seen 23 chief ministers, and of them 16 have come from one of these two communities. That just an indication of how, what a dominant presence these two castes have been in Karnataka. So I think this is the real reason. The number is where the real problem, or quote unquote problem, for them lies. That's why we have had a spectrum of reactions. For example, Shamnur Shivshankarappa, who's the head of the Lingayat, Veerashaiva Mahasabha, has openly criticized it. On the other end of the spectrum in Congress, Hari Prasad has said that even if this government has to come down in the process of implementing it should do it. That has been the kind of spectrum. D.K. Shivakumar has been somewhat circumspect. He is, at one level opposed it, but on another level has said that it's up to the cabinet to decide and so on. So there has been a spectrum of reactions to this, depending on where they stand, So that's been a fairly interesting debate. And in the recent delegation that went to meet the chief minister, Ravi Kumar, one of the OBC leaders of BJP, was also part of the delegation.
Right.
And more recently, Ashok, a leader of opposition in the Legislative Assembly, has said that they're in principle not opposed to caste census. So it's been a very interesting and nuanced debate going on around this question, actually.
Okay. You brought up two leaders, BJP leaders' reaction to the caste census report, which brings me to this point that the opposition has called the debate around the caste census a diversionary tactic employed by Siddaramaiah, considering the developments around the Muda scam. The implementation of the caste survey was also a promise that was made by the Congress during the 2023 elections in its poll manifesto. So the question is, how important is the report's acceptance for Siddaramaiah, and could it help pivot the political narrative for the embattled CM?
So yes, the timing when this has come up is very interesting. There's no, it is too obvious that it has come at a time when Muda controversy has sort of erupted, and CM has, he has never had to in the past face this kind of a big, quote unquote, scam, which is, considering that the investigation is still ongoing. So in such a context that this caste census, debate around caste census has come out, does indeed make it appear like it's a diversionary tactic. It is now under ED scanner, which is a central agency, and I don't think it is very easy to, bring up a debate around caste census and drown the Muda controversy over it. Definitely, but it has been a useful thing to add. When all the noise was around Muda, that this has come up and somewhat compelled people to, look at this question and debate this question, and compelled the opposition to respond to this question. To that extent, certainly it has succeeded in adding another strand of narrative to whatever was going on. That much is for sure. And also, Siddaramaiah is definitely, a very big Ahinda leader. So for him, assuming that sometime down the line, he is indeed compelled to step down. Then he would want a certain legacy to be, be part of a legacy. You might, as you said earlier, it was during his time that it was commissioned. So he would definitely want to take credit for, accepting and tabling the caste census. To that extent, I think that is what Siddaramaiah would definitely want to see. And also, as you said, Congress as a party has been very strongly pitching for a caste census at a national level. So in that sense, it is very difficult for the Congress party to keep on brushing it under the carpet when at the national level, the big debate has been for it. At the state level, to do something completely contrary to that is also a problem. So for these two reasons, I think this time, the time has come for it to sort of go forward after so much of almost a decade of, pushing it, on the back burner, keeping it on the back burner.
Yeah. So in the event that despite the internal differences within the Congress, the government accepts it and tables it, what do you think, what are the developments that we are likely to see?
Yeah, you can expect a lot of, the CM has said that it's going to be tabled, it's going to come up for discussion in the next cabinet, which is on the 18th. He has said likely to, so that's a big word again. But presuming that it does, most likely it will be tabled. I don't think you can expect any very quick developments and very big changes happening right away. There are too many internal issues to be sorted, too many interest groups that will not allow it to happen immediately, that too many questions will be raised. There'll be a lot of internal discussion and so on. So I don't think it's something that's going to happen too quickly. The guess is that it would be referred to a cabinet subcommittee, which would again mean more time, like more time would go in, looking at it, debating it, the pros and cons and numbers and, So I think it in all likelihood, it will be tabled in the next, it will come up for discussion in the next cabinet. But what happens after that may not be something that will happen too quickly. So we can expect a little more time before anything concrete really happens around the caste census report.
The Chief Minister is most likely to place the caste census report before the state cabinet this week on October 18th. Will the Karnataka government brave all opposition and make the report public? Or will the Congress, still licking its wounds from the defeat in Haryana elections, choose to keep it in cold storage for a while longer? Time will tell. I'll see you in the next episode of Decode Karnataka. Until then, follow The Hindu for more such stories and videos.